Morning, Eric.
Good morning.
All right. So we are ready to start. I'm Carol Gieske with the Elgin Area Chamber. Thanks so much to Excelsior and to Eric being with us today to talk about the third part of our series of unlocking AI, trying to demystify the mystery behind it. I think you're going to talk about some of the threats and vulnerabilities. Is that right, Eric? And bring us up to how to make sure that we can be as effective as possible. So thanks to you and to your team at Excelsior for making this happen, and I'll turn it over to you.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if somebody could just give me a quick nod, let me know if you can see that.
Yep. All set.
Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Ashley will be here kind of in the background. She'll be admitting people. If you have questions, just go ahead and throw those in there for her. She'll kind of take them all down and make sure that we address them, or if we have a follow-up discussion, things like that, anything like that can occur. Okay, so we're going to be talking today about unlocking AI, the power, any pitfalls, and protection. Really, I'm an IT guy, as you may know, and what we're going to go through is making sure that you know what AI is doing out there and how to protect yourselves. So, some housekeeping. We're recording today, so we'll send that recording to you. We'll make sure that you have it, you can use it. So be present, be here. If you have questions, submit your questions using the Q&A panel in Teams. Try not to, just like voice a question. That's a little disruptive for everybody else that's here. And I don't want to have to feel like a school teacher. So we'll go ahead and get started. All right. So who am I? I'm the technology partner here at Excelsior. I've been doing this over 15 years. I specialize in security, HIPAA. So if any of you are from the healthcare space, you'll understand what HIPAA is. PCI, PII, and IT infrastructure. Those are kind of my bread and butters. So I'm kind of very security focused. So if you have questions that you might have about, what's going on with your computer, I'm generally your guy. Okay. So we're going to dive in pretty hard today to artificial intelligence. We've all started to hear about AI. If you came to the first presentation, you heard Ashley kind of give you that broad overview. What are some of the things that AI can do for you? I like to tell people this is like Google search 2.0, right? It has such vast information that it can get at, and it all is in these platforms that allow you to query or ask it questions, and it can help you make decisions. It can write things down for you, which we'll get into, but it usually requires a human intelligence, and that's kind of what we're mimicking with artificial intelligence. Okay, the types of AI that are out there right now. You've got the reactive. So reactive is kind of the first version of AI that's kind of gone away. There's no past memory. It's like a chess playing computer or checkers or something like that. All it does is it knows kind of what its function is, and that's all it's going to do. The limited memory, that's really kind of where we're at right now. Limited memory, it uses past data to help make its predictions. And to be honest, this is kind of what we're seeing pretty much everywhere. ChatGPT is like this. You start to talk to ChatGPT more, you'll see that it actually kind of pays attention to the way that you like things, or it'll even ask you, like, which one do you like more? And then it'll start presenting you things that way. So the theory of mind, this is kind of the next step in the process of AI actually developing over time. And this is where it's actually able to like see your intentions, or like be able to listen to the way that you're talking to figure out if you're in a bad mood. This is kind of that next step The self-aware is something that's probably eons away, but I say that now, but it'll probably come out next week because I feel like that's the kind of the route that we're going. That's where this AI has a type of consciousness. And if I make an obscure reference to the Terminator movie, I'm sorry. That's kind of the era that I grew up in. So this is completely hypothetical, but people believe that we could get there. Okay, so even with the limited memory, we have to remember AI is still kind of in its infancy. So it's going to develop, it's going to get better, it's going to get stronger. So that could actually mean good, a lot of good, but there's always bad actors out there, right? And that's one of the things. I try not to be doom and gloom, especially on a day that looks like today. Walking into work today, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to scare a bunch of people, have them be like, oh my God, this IT guy talked to me for hours about AI, and I just don't want to go on the internet anymore. Nope, I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to try not to be that person for you. Okay. So we got to talk about some of the top attacks in 2025. AI-powered phishing and social engineering. Okay, phishing. We have to talk about phishing. We probably all have received those crazy emails that either look really good and you're just like, is this legit? Or look really bad and you're just like, oh, that's total garbage. I'm getting rid of it. They're getting better. So we're going to talk about those quite a bit today. Social engineering is a totally another one. That's where I'm pretending to be something that I'm not. It's very similar to phishing, but it can come in a bunch of different flavors. We're going to go through a couple of those new flavors that they're coming out with, and just kind of deep dive into that today. Ransomware as a service, supply chain attacks, credential theft, and identity exploits, and AI agent exploitation. I'm going to talk about number 5 a little bit, the AI agent. But also know credential theft is a thing. And what do I say by credential theft? Number 4, I'm not going to talk about this much further down, and I just wanted to touch on it quite a bit more here to like right now. So credential theft is when you get, let's say, an email or you get a call or somebody's trying to go after your username and password, and you're just like, okay, why are they after this? Maybe you've clicked on a link and it brought you to a web page and it's like, oh, enter in your Microsoft username and password. All they're looking for is your credentials. And often all they're doing is they're going to sell those credentials. Those credentials sell for, a couple of dollars to a couple $100 on the dark web, wherever it may be. Threat actors will just use them to wreak havoc just because they can, just because they want to. I don't know why all these people want to watch the world burn, but they do. I actually ran into one of these not too long ago. Credential theft from an employee of a small business that they lost their personal username and password to their personal email, which was tied the same username and password to their Facebook account. Their Facebook account was then managing this company's Facebook account, their public page. So it became very messy, and that's at that point where the business was involved. That's when we got involved as well. So yeah, took a long time. Those things are out there, and there's things that you got to watch out for. But again, majority of my presentation not around credential theft, but I just wanted to touch on it because it's on my slide. All right. So how is AI creating some of these new cyber risks? The same way that AI is helping you all write your emails and craft those emails, make them better, the attackers are using it too. Their AI is also helping them find methods to find these vulnerabilities on your workstations. Maybe they get in somehow and they see that they're on an older Windows device. They can use ChatGPT the same way we can and say, hey, what are the common exploits here? And guess what? It's going to give them all. The AI assistants with the new attack footholds, those are super interesting because if the AI assistants aren't being patched correctly, they're actually making footholds where people can gather information. Also, bad data. Feeding bad data into the AI learning model is actually a thing. People are kind of putting these poison apples out there to try to get the AI to ingest this bad data. So it's making mistakes. One of my favorite ones recently was I asked my ChatGPT how many working days there was in 2020 or there is in 2025, and it was wrong. I had to go to a different language model to find it. Always a good idea, no matter what you're doing here. All right, some other new, cool, exciting, not so cool things. Deepfakes. Deepfakes are super intriguing. It's basically making a fake piece of media 100% by AI. So you have probably seen ads on the internet, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, some sort of social media, where some celebrity is telling you about some awesome product that they're using, but it's really not them. They're using a deep fake. They're actually using the person's face from the internet or their voice, which that's also a thing where they could just use your voice to make you say things that you actually didn't say. So deepfakes are definitely a problem right now. They're not super common, but they are out there. And we'll talk a little bit more about deepfakes here. So deepfake can make a phone call, can send a message, can send a video chat. So what do we do about these? How are we going to protect ourselves? I tell people with the rise of now the deepfakes, you really have to have a conversation with your family, with your business, whoever it may be, and put some processes into place so that way people can kind of catch it if it ever were to happen. If your CEO is going on vacation to maybe some country that's maybe slightly sketchy, you might want to have some key things in there so you could catch deep fake in case you got a message, like a text message or a phone call from them saying, hey, wire transfer a bunch of money to this person, especially if it's out like something that they would normally do. Put some processes into place to help you catch these things. Maybe have a follow-up on how they specifically have to request it. Do things that are going to catch these potential deep fakes and make sure you don't have a problem. There's chatbots out there. These are terrible. They're programmed to pretend to basically be tech support or give you a useful tool that really they're not there to do anything other than steal your info. And the changing to the malware, we're learning how to hide from antivirus software, because if we're using AI to basically try to find these viruses, malware, guess what? They're doing the exact opposite. They're finding the new interesting ways to be avoided by using AI. Awesome. I'm sorry. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to kind of report all this to you. So some of these AI chatbots, they have vulnerabilities where they've been known to leak private information that they shouldn't have leaked out there. Or they could trick a customer to give away sensitive data. There's just a lot of things about these AI chatbots, and we're trying to catch up. And as they catch up, they're going to become better. Probably the best ones out there that I've seen recently. They're putting some protocols into place where the leaking of data has not become a thing. But I'm very wary about the chatbots and what information you put into them. Okay. So AI is also helping us on the good side, right? We're able to find threats a lot faster because we can go through a lot of data quicker by utilizing AI. We can spot odd behaviors like logins. Often that's usually a tattletale sign that somebody has a credential theft or had some sort of advanced attack, as we see logins from different countries, different locations, or quickly going between these different places. It helps us normalize our language in which we're looking at things. So instead of seeing maybe a programming language, we can have the AI model actually slim it down for us. And AI is going to learn and adapt to help us with any of these future attacks that are coming out there. Okay. If you're using some sort of AI generated email filter, this is where it'll help you detect those fake messages, fake emails, things like that. It'll actually flag them or just get rid of them altogether. If you don't have an email filter, do me a favor and look into them. Email filtering is probably your first step. It's not as expensive as you would think, but it'll really save you a lot of headache. Also, there are some AI plugins to your either to your computer or to your web browser that'll help you detect those websites that are just there to try to deceive you into giving out some information or doing something that you don't want on that website. So invest in a little bit of technology. It will really save you in the long run. That's actually on the next slide. So web filtering is what I was just talking about, email filtering, and then endpoint protection. Also, train yourself and your company on email phishing. And guess what? That's on my next slide too. We're going to go through some of the common things that we're seeing right now on email filtering. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a pop-up on phishing. Some of the common things that we're seeing right now help you try to identify these phished emails and try to give you some tips and tricks in trying to, get rid of them. Okay. First thing you got to do is look for those suspicious senders. And that's really evaluating the email address. Most commonly nowadays, we're seeing the emails coming from a legitimate sender. Maybe they had a credential theft, something like that. But if you look at the suspicious senders, if you look at the email address as a whole, and try to nitpick it, no matter what the name says it is, you gotta evaluate that. And I've got some ways later on, and I'll show you kind of how to do it. Look for the wording that makes that email seem urgent, a call to action, something that's like, oh, your account's going to be shut down because of this. Click here. Guess what? You got to kind of look past the urgency. If it somehow is trying to scare you into doing something, that should be, your second big red flag. Look for grammar errors and or spelling mistakes. I joke, I like to tell people this all the time. I'm from a Rockford public school, so spelling mistakes, not always my jam. There may actually be a spelling mistake in my presentation. Don't judge me, I'm sorry. But you got to look for these things. You got to look for grammatical things that AI tends to say, and I'll go over that here in a minute. Look for generic greetings. You've all probably seen emails where the to line is completely empty and it's actually gone to a bunch of people, and the entire list has been completely removed, trying to fool you into thinking that they're talking to you, but they're actually talking to a million people. Also, look for those unexpected attachments or links. If it's your bank and they're sending you a link to log in, why? Just go to your bank's website and it'll be fine. Or a PDF, or probably some of the more common ones are like Dropbox links and things to sign any sort of paperwork that maybe would be in your business. So you have to really look at these things and scrutinize it, and always kind of just do your due diligence on all of it. You got to verify the sender. So let's say we get an email from Ashley from Excezion. When I say verify the sender, just verify it with them. Like, pick up the phone call. Often we always forget. We could call that person and say, hey, did you actually send this to me? But call their number that is good. Call it from their website. Call it from, maybe your call log. Maybe it's actually in your phone. So just make sure that it's actually that person who they say they are. If you've had emails with them previously, and this is a new email chain, don't reply to that email chain. That's a common thing that the threat actors will do, is if you reply to that email that they sent you, they actually have a rule to delete it. So you could email them directly and see what it is. But again, if you're suspicious that it could be an email compromise, just give them a call. Check to see what time the email was sent. I work at all hours of the night. Like I'll be working at midnight, and then my team is surprised when I'm sending emails at 4 a.m. and they're just like, "What? Do you sleep?" So I get that, but if you're talking to a small governmental entity or maybe a village and they're sending you something at 2 a.m., I would say that you could assume that maybe that's not them. Maybe you know that the person does work at that time, so no offense to anybody that works in those industries. If they're sending you email links, they're sending you an email with a link embedded in it. It's like, oh, go here to avoid, your toll road violations from getting sent to somebody. Hover over the links, look to see where they're going. Personally, I just delete all of these. Don't click on the attachments. Unless you have a good filtering product that's actually going through the attachments, you're going to want to avoid clicking on those. If you have email that's O365, Google Workspace, whatever one, enable multi-factor authentication, because if you ever do give up your credential, it's really hard for them to intercept that multi-factor, whether that's a text message to your phone or it's an app that's on your phone that kind of does that MFA push for you. All right, let's look at sketchy web addresses, URLs, just so you kind of get an idea of, I said to hover, and what are you looking for? Look for HTTPS versus HTTP. HTTPS means it's a secure site. A little bit harder for the attackers to get a secure site than an unsecure site. The legitimate site, I used Excesion.com. The fake site, there's actually an additional period in the middle of our name where somebody could buy that domain space and then present themselves as us. Another fake example is ExcesionAccounting.com. That's not us. And then misspelling where they put like an L or a 1 in there to try to fool you. Okay. I like to use search engines for finding the websites versus just clicking on the links. Okay. What to do with those sketchy emails that you receive? Don't click or respond with them. Report the email if you have that functionality. If you have on-staff IT, this is great, because then they can start to go through them, especially if you have Google Workspace and you're using the web version of Google. If you're using that tie-in to Outlook, you're actually losing some of the built-in AI that Google has done. Gemini is a great product. I can't speak highly enough about it. So don't do much with these emails. Delete them. Get rid of them. Go to the source. Like I said, if you got an email from your bank saying something is wrong about your bank account, go to your bank. Like go directly to the source and don't worry about it. All right. So AI written phishing emails. These are also your emails, I'm sure. A lot of you probably are just using the AI, ChatGPT, write me an email to a difficult person and be super nice because I can't right now. So what you want to look for is unusual grammar, repetitive phrasing, formal or generic language, inconsistent tone or style. As AI gets better, these will actually kind of go away. But there are some buzzwords that I tend to find in a lot of AI written content. The word kindly is super fun. You'll always find it being super formal. Best regards, attention to this matter. I hope this message finds you well. I don't know anybody outside of AI that actually talks this way in email. Maybe there's people out there that do, and I'm sure there's some on this webinar or watching this webinar that are like, oh yeah, this is how I write, and I sound like AI. But these are words that you should be familiar with, things that can help you catch some of these AI-generated emails to help you find the criminals and also find who's just using AI to write you an email. Okay, so let's say you have one of these emails and you're just like, ooh, I clicked on a link. I know Eric said not to. I clicked on the link. I went to this website, I entered in my information. If you have IT, contact them 100%. Setting up fraud alerting. I have a couple of companies that I really like where they monitor your emails. They monitor kind of a bunch of like social content for you. I can actually send those out. The fraud alerting is great. I think it's a good way to just catch things that maybe you could have missed. Another good way is to have web content filtering, the web filtering email, or not email, just web filtering. It's actually an app that either lives in your like Google Chrome, Edge, or your browser that you like, or it sits on your computer. It'll help you try to get away from some of these new sites that are just trying to do a credential harvest. But probably the most important thing is you got to change your password. And if you're one of those people, because I'm sure there's people on this right now that use the same username and password for everything, you know who you are, you're going to have to change it on every single one of those sites. Because those threat actors, once they have your credentials, they're going to try it. They're going to try to log in using your username and password to your Facebook, to your Instagram, to your Twitter, to your dating profile. It doesn't matter. All they want to do is try to be you for some reason, to then spread their just awesomeness everywhere. So you're going to have to change. You're going to have to change your password everywhere you've reused it. If you're an Apple user or an Android user, go into the little app where it's like, oh, where have I reused this password? It'll tell you. And if it says, hey, you've reused this password like 75 times, like, yes, you're going to have to do that. Start working on that now. The password manager that's actually built into Apple is great. Android, same thing. Start using those. Generate those unique passwords. Make sure you have multi-factor turned on your phone. So when you're like Apple ID or your Android ID, I'm not the Android guy. I could grab somebody. Your Apple ID. If somebody's trying to log into your Apple ID and it's like, oh, you got to go to a known good device in order to get in. That's what you want. Okay, that way your passwords are protected and you're good. Okay, consider changing your username if you've given up your username and password, because once they have your username and password, they're going to keep trying it. So if you have any sort of alerting turned on, you're going to see that they're continuously trying to use your username and a bad password, right? Especially on your email, things like that. And always, if it's available, turn on that multi-factor authentication, okay? All right, this slide, kind of busy, but I'll summarize it for you really quick. You have to start at the top, go to the bottom. On all your emails, start at the top. Look who it's from. Really scrutinize that from address. Who is it to? Was it masked? Was it actually you? Date and time. You have to look at that. Okay. Subject. Is it something that's either irrelevant to the actual rest of the body, or is it something trying to scare you? Okay. Then the content of the actual email itself. You have to look at the email. You have to read it. You have to say, was this written very well? Was there grammatical errors that are not something that I would imagine a human would do? URLs. Is this URL something that I should click on or should I not? Or does it have a sketchy attachment? Okay. Also, not on here, but something that I think is important to kind of call out is like how the CEO of this actual email like signed the actual email itself. Got to scrutinize that as well. Okay. So I tend to tell people this, and it scares them sometimes. It's what to do when you're attacked, not if. Okay, big difference. At some point throughout your career, throughout your life, you're going to have some sort of an attack, whether that's a scam phone call, scam email, somebody trying to come in as ComEd to your organization to do some sort of electricity audit and they're just there to see how far they can get into the organization. Okay, these are all things that happen. It's not if nowadays, it's when. Okay, so we have to know what to do. First thing you always have to do, even if you're in the middle of a ransomware attack, is you have to stay calm. Okay, if you panic, you're going to start making mistakes. You're going to have time. You sometimes you have to move quickly, but you have to do it in a non-panicked method. If you have, let's say, a ransomware attack, something like that, you have to remember it's probably going to take you over a month, especially if you have cyber insurance, to fully get back from that. So um, you don't need to run around. You literally have to calm down just a little bit and make some sound decisions. My first step that I always like to tell people: contact IT support, whoever that may be. If you pay somebody, or if you know somebody that can help you with any of these things, contact them. The sooner the better. Don't wait to see if it gets worse, or you don't want to bother them. A lot of us will tell you the sooner we can get in to take a look at things, the better off it's going to be for you. In almost every instance, you got to get your computers off the internet. If a threat actor is actively exploiting you, if you disconnect it, they're going to have a harder time doing anything unless there's some like automatic features that happen. And this could just be unplug your Ethernet cable, unplug your router, unplug your modem, whatever it may be. Just kill the internet, so that way you can make sure that the IT side has time to kind of get in and evaluate what's going on. I tell people lots of times, whenever you have a cyber event, you got to document everything. And that means writing down dates and times. If you clicked on an email, and you know which one it was, document everything about it. These things right here, they're great. Cell phones, they're absolutely amazing. You got to use them in a way that maybe you didn't think. Take photos of everything. Date and timestamps are all there, so that way, if you have a cyber claim, if you ever run into this, you'll have photos, you'll have the date timestamp, you'll be able to kind of recall all of that. You have to also document your time you spent, the VPN connectivity, any passwords you may have used, if you rebooted. All of these are key pieces of information that a lot of people are going to need to know, especially if you have cyber insurance. Also your IT person as they're doing an investigation. So a lot of things. I just went through a whole bunch of content in this last half an hour. But here's some things that you have to know. AI is really changing the attack surface of the entire world. The more bleeding edge some of this technology is, they're not all foolproof. So you still have to be cautious with what information you're putting in and taking out. You got to use the tools to your best of your ability as well. So make sure you're using some of these smart tools. And be like me, hire people that are vastly smarter than you to help you navigate through it. And then train your team. Here at Excesion, we do quite a bit of training on lots of different things. We do an annual phishing training led by yours truly, where we deep dive even further into phishing. You guys just got like the sliver off the surface here. But make sure that your employees know the things that are out there to avoid scams. If you are a small to mid-sized or a large-sized business, and you haven't done a reevaluation of how much cyber insurance you may need, I've got some pretty awesome, not so awesome horror stories for you about companies that come to us because they need help recouping from a cyber event, and suddenly, they tell us, "Oh, well, we have about $1 million worth of cyber insurance," and I'm just like, yeah, you're like a $10 million company and you haven't been able to work for a month. That's, yeah, it's not enough. So really evaluate that. Make sure that you have those conversations, and just if you have questions, you can always reach out to me. We're a part of the chamber. We love educating people, and whether it just be on the AI side of just like what are the different ways that you can use it in marketing or social media and whatever, or technology ways. All right. I think I saw a question or two pop up. What questions do we have?
The one question that I see is, if I have a small business, can you recommend an email filter?
Yes, I can. There's a lot of questions that come along with that. So, of course, by asking one question, you're going to get a question. Um, One of the things that I like to tell people is it really matters whether or not you're using Google Suite or Microsoft. Um, they both have, well, Google, I'll tell you, no offense, Microsoft, Google does a much better job of filtering than Microsoft does. Again, it kind of comes back to whether or not you're actually using the Google email filter or email on the web. Because um, if you're using the web version of Gmail or Google Mail, you are getting way more tools than you get with Microsoft, 100%. But there's a couple that I really enjoy, like Checkpoint. It has to be one of my favorites right now. Spam House, different things like that. I can send out a list if you'd like, or if you want. I am a coffee junkie. I will come have coffee with you. We can talk about what different filters might be good. But again, Checkpoint's worth taking a look at. I think they're doing a lot of really good things right now. Um, okay. What other ones, Ashley?
Yes. Another question is, as a small home-based business, what level of insurance do you recommend?
So it really depends on how much money the small home-based business is making. Um, if you are a million a year, 2 million a year, or even less, having enough in your cyber insurance to cover you for the time that you would be without, or if your bank accounts were to get breached. That's how much money you need to have in cyber insurance. But a really good insurance agent that sells cyber insurance is going to help navigate through some of these. So I like to tell people I know a lot of things about a lot of things, but I'm not an expert in cyber insurance levels, but I can tell you that you need it, and you need to make sure that you have enough. And usually I tell people like, hey, talk to your insurance agent, your business insurance, and they'll help you navigate some of those things.
Awesome. We have another question. Any tips on identifying fake Facebook accounts? I get a lot of leads from Facebook, but I have had fake people contact me. Any way to better protect Facebook accounts from attacks?
Oh yeah, that's the bane of my existence. We get this question a lot to help you find them. It's really hard because until people really stop getting their personal Facebooks breached, it's going to be harder and harder to find them. Like that example I was talking about, where the person lost access to their own Facebook account. Um, they, we had a customer had went through this, lost access to their email, then lost access to Facebook. Their account still was technically them, but it was 100% by a threat actor. You just have to scrutinize anything that you're doing on social media. I tell people it's better to assume people are fake or up to no good when it comes to social media than to assume the good in people out there. You're going to run into this no matter how you shake it. Um, yeah, that's a hard one. I don't really have a good answer for you on it. Aside from probably asking a lot of questions, never send money before services are rendered. If that's something that you're doing, take it outside of Facebook. Make sure that if you're being asked for some sort of payment, maybe you're buying something on Marketplace, make sure you are doing things that make sense. I hate to say it, but a lot of people, I see people still now say, "Oh, I sent this person money because they're buying something from them, and I totally got scammed." It's just like you got to think about it. You got to step back and say, "Okay, what would I do if my mother told me that she was doing this, right? That she sent money to something." So
Yeah, I will comment just a little bit on that too. You can also report accounts. Some, like LinkedIn, takes that very seriously. And there are different options on how to report it and things like that. Facebook is a little bit more of a bear, but it's just that one extra step. If this person's constantly spamming you or something like that, you could do that as well. Um, but I see Carol typing. Otherwise, that is all the questions that we had for today.
okay. Well, if anybody ever wants to get coffee, have a further discussion about cyber security, wants me to scare them more so than I did on this webinar, more than happy to do so. That's this is me. I'm always around. You'll probably, now that you've met me officially in the digital world, you'll see me everywhere. There's people on this call that just can't stop seeing me because they just run into me. So.
Well, Eric, thank you very much. We really appreciate your direction and discussion on some of these threats and vulnerabilities. It is looks like we need to do some work to just meet some of those basic fundamental precautions to put in place. And small businesses, we always want to make sure that they are have the information that they need in order to be effective and use AI within their business. Thanks to each of you for joining us today on this rainy day. We appreciate your time on your busy schedule. Again, thanks to Eric and the team from Exion. We appreciate their guidance and over the last 3 sessions that we've had relative to AI. So Eric, too, thanks for making yourself available should anyone want to continue talking with you and over a cup of coffee. Thanks all. Have a great day. Bye.